8 minutes of a forgotten Zoom call showed me two things: my boyfriend in another woman's arms, and my life's work on her laptop screen. Turns out, the affair was just the cover story. The real betrayal was worth millions. It wasn't the embrace that shattered me, though that stung like a slap from a trusted colleague. It was the glow of proprietary data on her screen. Equations I'd bled over in sterile labs, now exposed like a patient's confidential records. 8 minutes revealed a plot deeper than infidelity: corporate espionage masquerading as romance. My research, codenamed Project Mnemosyne, aimed to revolutionize Alzheimer's treatment, and they were auctioning it off like black market organs. The FDA would crucify them if caught, but in those 480 seconds, I became the whistleblower they never saw coming. This wasn't just personal. It violated every ethic in the Hippocratic Oath and U.S. intellectual property laws. But let's rewind to how it all unfolded that rainy Thursday in Baltimore. I'm Lily Chen, 28, a medical researcher at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. My days are spent in the labyrinth of labs on the East Baltimore campus, surrounded by beeping monitors, petri dishes, and the faint hum of centrifuges. I've dedicated the last 5 years to neurology, specifically developing an experimental drug for Alzheimer's disease. It's groundbreaking, targeting amyloid plaques with a novel peptide inhibitor that could halt cognitive decline in early stages. We call it Project Mnemosyne, after the Greek goddess of memory. The potential? Billions in market value. FDA fast-track approval if our Phase 1 trials succeed next quarter. But it's not just about the money. It's personal. My grandmother wasted away from the disease in a Boston nursing home, forgetting my name before she passed. This work is my fight against that thief of minds. Mark Thompson, 30, is my boyfriend of 18 months. He's a pharmaceutical sales rep for BioNova Therapeutics, based out of Cambridge, in Boston's booming biotech hub. We met at a conference in D.C., the American Neurological Association annual meeting, where he charmed me over bad hotel coffee with stories of sealing deals for life-saving meds. Long distance works for us. He drives down I-95 every 2 weeks, crashing in my Fells Point row house with its creaky floors and harbor views. We'd talk shop, me venting about grant proposals, him boasting about schmoozing hospital admins. I thought we were a power couple in the making, bridging academia and industry. That night, I was pulling a late shift in my home office, a converted sunroom overlooking the Pepsco River. Rain drummed on the tin roof, and the air smelled of damp cobblestones from the street below. I'd skipped dinner for data analysis, crunching numbers on synaptic regeneration models. Mark had texted earlier. "Networking dinner in Boston. Big client from a rival firm. Call you at 9. I smiled at the message. He was always hustling. At 9 p.m. sharp, I started the Zoom call from my laptop. His face appeared, framed by the bland decor of a hotel room, probably the Marriott in Back Bay, where he often stayed for late meetings. He looked sharp in a button-down, tie loosened, but his eyes darted off screen like he was multitasking. "Hey, Lils," he said, voice warm but clipped. "How's the lab rat life?" "Exhausting," I replied, leaning back in my ergonomic chair. "Spent all day tweaking the Mnemosyne formula. We're close to submitting for IRB approval. How's the dinner going?" He rubbed his neck. "Just wrapped up, schmoozing some execs from a Cambridge startup. They want in on neurodrugs. Miss you, though. Can't wait for this weekend." We chatted for 20 minutes, me updating him on the project's hurdles, like ensuring the compound crosses the blood-brain barrier without toxicity, him nodding, asking just enough questions to seem engaged. "Sounds revolutionary," he said. "FDA is gonna love it." But he seemed distracted, glancing at his watch. At 9:22 p.m., he yawned theatrically. "Gotta crash early for a morning pitch. Love you, babe." Love you too. I blew a kiss as the screen faded. Or so I thought. The Zoom didn't disconnect. His hotel room stayed live on my end. King bed with rumpled sheets, desk lamp casting shadows on the wallpaper, Boston skyline twinkling through the window. I assumed it was a glitch. Zoom's been finicky since the pandemic. I reached to close the app, but then I heard a door click open off screen. In walked a woman, mid-30s, sharp bob haircut, tailored blazer over a silk blouse. Professional, poised, like she owned boardrooms. I recognized her vaguely from industry LinkedIn stocks. Dr. Rebecca Hale, 35, Mark's boss at BioNova. What was she doing in his hotel room? She approached him with a familiarity that made my stomach drop. "Did you get the final formula?" she asked, voice low and urgent, perching on the bed's edge. Mark sighed, running hands through his hair. "Lily keeps it encrypted on the Johns Hopkins secure server. I need more time to access her laptop during my next visit." Rebecca leaned in. "Our buyers are offering $2 million up front, plus royalties. But they want the full Mnemosyne protocol before Friday's auction. Get it, Mark. This could set us up for life." He pulled her into an embrace, not passionate, but intimate, like partners in crime sharing a secret victory. Her arms wrapped around him, and they held there, whispering. My breath caught. But then my eyes locked on her laptop, propped open on the desk behind them. The screen displayed files I knew intimately. Molecular structures, trial data spreadsheets, even my handwritten notes scanned from lab journals. Project Mnemosyne, Phase 1 dosage optimization. My work. Stolen. The realization hit like a failed exploding. He wasn't just cheating. He was dating me to steal my research. Corporate espionage. Plain and simple. Under U.S. law, that's theft of trade secrets, violating the Defend Trade Secrets Act, not to mention FDA regulations on proprietary drug development. I couldn't move, but I hit record on my screen capture software, silent as a shadow. They broke the embrace, and Rebecca paced. "Which files are still missing? The binding affinity charts?" Mark nodded. "Yeah, and the in vivo mouse model results. I'll copy them when I'm in Baltimore. She leaves her laptop unlocked around me." "How about bypassing hospital security? You said her badge has RFID access." "Working on cloning it. Once I have that, I can slip into the lab after hours." Rebecca smiled coldly. "Good. And the resignation letter? Forge her signature like we practiced. Make it look like she's jumping ship to a competitor. That'll cover our tracks when BioNova independently develops this." They huddled over her laptop, pointing at my data. Minute 4, Mark zoomed in on a formula I'd refined just last week. Minute 6, Rebecca emailed a snippet to an anonymous address, murmuring about Chinese buyers hungry for neuro breakthroughs. Rage boiled in me. Not the hot tears of a broken heart, but the cold fury of a scientist violated. This wasn't love gone wrong. It was intellectual property theft, potentially derailing years of ethical research. Lives depended on Mnemosyne, patients like my grandmother, and they were commodifying it for profit. Minute 7, I spotted a document on her screen with my forged signature, authorizing data transfer for consultation. Felony-level fraud. At minute 8, Mark glanced at his computer, eyes widening. "Wait, the Zoom's still connected." He lunged, but I ended the call first. I closed my laptop. This wasn't a broken heart. This was a crime scene, and I was the only witness. I opened my encrypted research drive and started tracing. The rain still pelted my Fells Point window, but my mind was a laser, focused, unemotional. First, I replayed the recorded Zoom clip on my laptop, pausing at key frames. Mark's face, Rebecca's laptop screen displaying my monomycene files. I exported timestamps, annotated every incriminating word. Encrypted server, he'd said. Cloning her badge. This was premeditated, a violation of the Economic Espionage Act, federal crime territory. I logged into the Johns Hopkins Secure portal using my VPN. As lead researcher on monomycene, I had admin access to project logs. I pulled the audit trail for the past 6 months. Every login, file access, data export. There. 3 unauthorized entries from an IP in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Timestamps matched Mark's visits to Baltimore. He'd used my credentials somehow, probably shoulder-surfed my password during one of our romantic dinners at Woodbury Kitchen. One log showed a partial download of the peptide inhibitor schematics. My work, siphoned off like blood from a donor. Next, I dug into Rebecca Hale. A quick search on my phone. Her LinkedIn profile, VP of R&D at Neurogen Pharma, a Boston-based rival biotech firm specializing in neurodegenerative therapies. They'd been lagging in Alzheimer's trials, their stock dipping after FDA rejected their last candidate for toxicity issues. Monomycene would be their golden ticket. Reverse engineer my formula, slap a patent on a derivative, and beat us to market. Under U.S. patent law, first to file wins, but stealing trade secrets voids that. Neurogen's annual report, publicly filed with the SEC, showed aggressive acquisition strategies. Rebecca's bio boasted strategic partnerships, code for espionage in this cutthroat industry. But how deep did it go? I thought back to Mark's last visit 2 weeks ago. He'd helped in my lab one afternoon, claiming curiosity about my setup. The Johns Hopkins Neuroscience Wing in the Sheikh Zayed Tower. Sterile halls, badge swipe doors, cameras everywhere. I accessed the security footage archives through the hospital's internal system. Fast-forwarding through clips, there he was, alone in my office while I stepped out for coffee. He fiddled with the bookshelf, planting something small behind my stack of journals. A hidden camera. I zoomed in. Yes, a tiny wireless device, lens glinting. Cybersecurity breach 101, unauthorized surveillance in a HIPAA-protected facility. My pulse quickened, but not from hurt, from strategy. This was bigger than us. It threatened patient data, trial integrity. I couldn't go to the police yet, needed ironclad proof to avoid alerting them. Instead, I emailed the hospital's legal department from my secure account. Subject, urgent, potential IP theft incident. I attached the Zoom recording, logs, and a screenshot of the planted camera. Request discreet investigation, I wrote. Suspect involves external parties. Advise on next steps per Maryland whistleblower protections. Within 20 minutes, my phone buzzed. Dr. Elena Vasquez, JHU's chief legal counsel. "Lily, I've reviewed your attachments," she said, voice steady over the line. "This constitutes trade secret misappropriation under the Defend Trade Secrets Act. We'll loop in cybersecurity forensics. Do not confront suspects. Preserve all evidence." We conferenced with IT security lead, Raj Patel, a no-nonsense guy from the Wolf Street building. "We've seen this before," he said. "Pharma spies target academia. That camera likely streams to a cloud server. We'll trace the MAC address." By 11 p.m., Raj had remote accessed my lab feed. Sure enough, the device was active, pinging an IP tied to a Boston VPN. "Amateur setup," he noted. "We can disable it without them knowing, then monitor for access attempts." But I wanted more. Offense, not just defense. "What if we plant decoy data?" I suggested. "Let them steal something useless. Track where it goes." Elena paused. "Risky, but legal if documented as a sting. Under federal law, we can use honeypots for intrusion detection. Draft a false namocene variant, alter formula that fails in simulations." We brainstormed. I'd create bogus files with subtle errors, swapped molecular bonds that would cause neurotoxicity in models, invalidating any derivative drug. Label them, final protocol, encrypted backup, upload to a monitored subdirectory on the server, baiting the hook. Over the next hour, I worked in my home office, the harbor lights flickering outside like code on a screen. Using my molecular modeling software, I'd tweaked the real peptide structure, inverted a chiral center, inflated binding affinities to impossible levels. It looked legit at first glance, but crash in any rigorous test. Raj set up a virtual machine to log any access, tracing IP chains through Tor if needed. Elena outlined the legal net. Once they take the bait, we file with the DOJ for EEA violations. Neurogen could face injunctions, fines up to 3 times the stolen value, millions. Mark and Rebecca, criminal charges, up to 10 years. By 1 a.m., the decoy was live. We tested it. Raj simulated a breach and alerts fired to our dashboards. Perfect. Mark's next visit was Saturday. He'd likely try then, or remote hack via the camera before we discovered it. I leaned back, the rain easing to a drizzle. This was cybersecurity chess. Firewalls, encryption keys, audit trails as my pieces. Medical research protection wasn't just locks on doors. It was vigilance against insiders. JHU's ethics board would review, but for now, we had containment. I imagined their $2 million deal, buyers running the fake data, trials imploding, reputations ruined. FDA audits would bury Neurogen. I gave them exactly what they wanted, fake data. Now let's see how their $2 million deal goes. Fake data uploaded. Now the trap was set. By dawn Friday, the decoy files sat innocently in the Johns Hopkins server subdirectory, labeled Mnemosine Final Protocol Confidential. Raj from IT had rigged digital tripwires. Any access would ping us with IP details, timestamps, even keystroke logs if they edited. Dr. Vasquez, our legal counsel, had greenlit the next phase. "This is entrapment light," she said over our secure call. "Federal precedents allow it for IP protection. Now escalate to the FDA." I drafted the anonymous tip from a burner email, routed through a VPN in DC. "Potential trade secret theft at Neurogen Pharma, Boston," I wrote, "involves unauthorized acquisition of Johns Hopkins Alzheimer's research for resale. Evidence attached. Partial logs, forged documents." I included redacted snippets, enough to spark an investigation without exposing our sting. Sent to the FDA's Office of Criminal Investigations, the branch that hunts pharma fraud under the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. They'd move quietly at first, but once the fake data surfaced in trials, it'd trigger audits, subpoenas, maybe indictments. While that simmered, I targeted Neurogen's underbelly, their investors. A quick dive into SEC filings via the Edgar database showed their Series C round, $50 million from venture firms like Beacon Ventures and Apex Biocapital, both Boston heavyweights. Rebecca had bragged in the Zoom clip about a $2 million upfront buyer, but whispers in biotech forums suggested a bigger play. A $5 million licensing deal with a Chinese firm, Sino-Biotech, hungry for U.S. neuro IP. I set up an anonymous profile on AngelList and LinkedIn, Dr. Elena Ramirez, a fictional venture scout from a made-up San Diego fund, Pacific Health Ventures. Used a stock photo, generic bio, expertise in neurotherapeutics, scouting acquisitions. I emailed Neurogen's investor relations from a Proton Mail account. Heard through channels about your Alzheimer's breakthrough. Interested in joining the upcoming presentation as observer. NDA ready. Attached a forged credential PDF, watermarked to look legit. By noon, their reply came. "Welcome aboard, Dr. Ramirez. Zoom link for Monday's pitch to Sino-Biotech, etc. 10 a.m. EST. Strict confidentiality." Perfect. The trap tightened. Over the weekend, our monitors lit up. Saturday night, access from a Cambridge IP, Mark's laptop, no doubt. He downloaded the decoy files, oblivious to the honeypot. Raj traced the upload to Neurogen's cloud server. Sunday, edits from Rebecca's machine, integrating the bogus peptide structures into their pitch deck. They'd present the fake mnemosiny as their independent innovation ready for fast-tracked FDA submission. Monday morning, I prepped in my Baltimore office, the Sheikh Zayed Tower humming with routine lab chatter. I joined the Zoom early, camera off, mic muted, under my alias. The virtual room filled, Rebecca hosting, Mark as co-presenter. Investors appeared. Beacon's managing partner, Apex's CTO, and 3 Sino-Biotech execs from Shanghai, their feeds laggy but eager. About 12 participants total, all muted except speakers. Rebecca started strong. Her sharp bob framed by a Boston skyline backdrop. Thank you for joining. Neurogen's new Alzheimer's candidate, codenamed Echo 7, represents a paradigm shift. Our peptide inhibitor targets amyloid plaques with 95% efficacy in models, superior binding, minimal toxicity. Mark clicked through slides, molecular diagrams straight from my fakes, charts showing fabricated regeneration data. He lied smoothly. Phase 1 trials projected Q2 2026. Licensing terms, $5 million upfront, 8% royalties. The Sino-Biotech lead unmuted. Impressive. Data integrity confirmed? Absolutely, Rebecca assured. Independent verification available post-NDA. That's when I struck. I turned on my camera, disguised with a filter app, virtual glasses, altered hair color, background set to a generic San Diego office. Unmuted. Before we proceed, a question for the presenters. Heads turned in the grid view. Rebecca smiled politely. Dr. Ramirez, go ahead. I shared my screen. First slide, the original Zoom recording clip, paused on Rebecca's laptop showing my real mnemosiny files. This is from last Thursday. Recognize it? Mark's face froze. Rebecca's eyes widened. Who is this? Security. I advanced. Hospital security footage of Mark planting the camera in my lab. Unauthorized surveillance at Johns Hopkins. Violation of HIPAA and the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. Murmurs rippled through the call. The Apex CTO unmuted. Explain this. I didn't pause. Next, forged signature on a data transfer doc. My name scrawled in Mark's handwriting, matched via forensic software Raj ran. Forgery under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 267, felony. Rebecca tried to interrupt. This is a hoax, mute her. But the investors were engaged now. I dropped the bomb. Server logs showing their downloads of the decoy. The data you're pitching? Fabricated. Run it through any simulator, it'll show neurotoxicity at 200% baseline. You've been fed a poison pill. Mark stammered. This isn't, we developed. I overlaid the real versus fake structures. Stolen from Johns Hopkins. I've alerted the FDA. Expect OCI agents soon. Economic Espionage Act carries 15 years. The Sino-Biotech execs dropped off. One by one, their squares going black. Beacon's partner spoke coldly. We're pulling our term sheet. Expect a clawback demand. Rebecca's composure cracked. You don't understand. I do, I said, dropping the filter. My real face appeared. I'm Dr. Lily Chen, lead on Project Mnemosiny. This ends now. Mark whispered my name like a curse. The call devolved. Accusations, logouts. Rebecca ended the Zoom abruptly. But the damage was done. By afternoon, FDA confirmed receipt. Their tip line lit up with our evidence. Neurogen's stock, traded on NASDAQ, plummeted 40% on rumors of IP issues. Beacon issued a public withdrawal statement. Anonymous leaks to Biotech Wire cited espionage concerns.
I watched from my desk as SEC filings updated, investigations pending. Mark and Rebecca's LinkedIn profiles went bark. Their careers, built on stolen innovation, crumbled under the weight of federal scrutiny. The investors' faces went pale. The deal died in 60 seconds. So did their careers.
The FBI agent took my statement at 10 a.m. the next morning. Special Agent Carla Morales arrived at Johns Hopkins with 2 assistants and a warrant that looked thicker than my thesis. We sat in a secure conference room on the 8th floor of the Bloomberg School of Public Health, windows overlooking the same East Baltimore streets where I'd once walked with Mark, laughing about conference swag. Now the only thing between us was a federal recorder and the truth. Dr. Chen, Agent Morales began, your evidence package is the cleanest I've seen in 5 years of economic espionage cases. We executed search warrants at Neurogen's Cambridge headquarters at 6 a.m. They recovered the decoy files on Rebecca Hale's desktop, the hidden camera from your lab, and a cloned RFID badge in Mark Thompson's apartment. By noon, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts unsealed the indictment. Mark Thompson, 1-count conspiracy to commit theft of trade secrets, 18 U.S.C. Section 1832, 1-count wire fraud, 1-count aggravated identity theft. Dr. Rebecca Hale, same charges plus aiding and abetting. Maximum, 15 years each, $5 million fines, full restitution. The news hit Biotech Wire at 1:17 p.m. Neurogen's NASDAQ ticker, NRGN, opened at $14.82 and was halted 90 minutes later at $2.11, an 80% wipeout. Venture funds issued furious statements. Sino-Biotech filed a $20 million fraud claim in federal court. By close of business, Neurogen's board placed Rebecca on indefinite leave and terminated Mark for cause. 2 weeks later, the Massachusetts Board of Registration in Pharmacy revoked Mark's pharmaceutical sales license permanently. Conduct involving moral turpitude, the order read. He was blacklisted from every major distributor within 48 hours. No more whining and dining doctors, no more expense account dinners at Grill 23, just a resume that now glowed radioactive. Rebecca's downfall was slower but more devastating. The Massachusetts Board of Registration in Medicine held an emergency hearing. Stealing research, forging signatures, and attempting to submit fraudulent data to the FDA violated multiple clauses of MGL Chapter 112. Her medical license, earned after 4 years at Harvard, residency at Mass General, was revoked. The American College of Neurology expelled her the same week. In 1 month, she went from keynote speaker to unemployable. Meanwhile, Johns Hopkins fast-tracked Project Mimosine for publication. The real data, untouched, pristine, appeared in Nature Neuroscience under my name as corresponding author. The paper made the cover. Novel peptide inhibitor halts amyloid aggregation in preclinical models. Grant money poured in. $18 million from NIA, a $5 million prize from the Alzheimer's Drug Discovery Foundation. My department chair personally apologized for ever doubting my security protocols. I could have stopped there. Career saved, bad guys punished, science vindicated. But the sting still sat in my chest like undissolved residue. So I did something bigger. In March, I incorporated the Mnemosine Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to protecting academic biomedical research from corporate espionage. Seed funding came from my prize money and anonymous donors who'd watched the Neurogen implosion in horror. We launched 3 programs: free encrypted cloud storage for principal investigators, annual Red Team penetration testing for university labs, a whistleblower fund that pays legal fees for researchers targeted by industry spies.
Within a year, we were in 20 major research institutions: Harvard, Stanford, Duke, UCLA, training postdocs how to spot cloned badges, hidden cameras, and overly charming sales reps. Mark pleaded guilty in exchange for 8 years at FMC Devons. Rebecca fought it, lost, and drew 11. On sentencing day, I didn't attend. I was in D.C., testifying before a House subcommittee on strengthening the Defend Trade Secrets Act. The new amendment, informally called the Chen Clause, requires pharma companies to certify supply chain IP audits or face treble damages. Sometimes I walk past the empty shelf in my lab where Mark once planted that camera. The spot is bare now, a reminder instead of a wound. Betrayal taught me a lesson no grant or degree ever could. Some people don't want your heart. They want the part of you that can change the world, and they'll smile, kiss you, and copy your files while you sleep. So I protect my work the way I once protected my heart, with encryption, audits, and zero trust. Sometimes betrayal isn't about your heart, it's about your mind. Protect your work like you protect your heart, because some people want both.